Hey there, everyone, and welcome to UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. I am Maya Engel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I hope your Thursday has been a great one so far. It's certainly been a warm one. I don't think Mother Nature got the memo that it is officially fall because it still feels like summer out there. So, Joe, as we look ahead to the end of our work week and the weekend, are we going to see these summer-like conditions stick around?
Yeah, they definitely are going to hang around at least through the weekend. Now, coming up later, there is some cooler weather down the road, down the pipe.
Okay.
But not anytime soon. So if you like these 70s, and it has been pleasant, there's going to be quite a bit of that. And, Maya, of course, everyone's talking about the hurricane, too, as well. So we're going to have more on that. Hurricane Helene down in the Gulf of Mexico. And we'll take a look at that. And then, how long that warm weather is going to last coming up a little later.
All right. Thanks so much, Joe. And let's start off with a pretty cool story happening all across the country, but right here in northern Michigan as well. So the football season competition this year is not just on the field. Sorry, Joe is laughing, and it's a little distracting, but we'll continue on. He apologizes. So T-Mobile, back to the story, is giving high schools across the country the opportunity to give their team the 5G advantage. So more than 1,000 schools applied for hopes of winning $2 million for a football field technology makeover, and one of those schools that's in the running is right here in northern Michigan. That would be Mayo Sabal High School. They have already received $5,000, and they still have a chance to win that grand prize. So for more on this, let's bring in our guest today. This is Steve Carlson. He is the Senior Communications Manager at T-Mobile. If we could bring in... Oh, there he is. Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hey, Steve, can you hear me? Oh, I don't think Steve can hear me. Hey, Steve, you there? Looks like we're having some issues getting Steve to hear me. So I guess we will circle back to Steve, hopefully, because this is a very cool program, and I really want to learn more about it, and I'm sure you folks do too. And so hopefully we'll be able to bring Steve back in a little later, but we can turn things over to another story, and that is the election. It is just 6 weeks away now, and Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, she held a virtual press conference today to send this message. Ballots are available for every eligible citizen, and the election will be secure. Take a listen to what she had to say.
Our elections are only as accessible and reliable as they are secure, and we take election security and integrity very seriously. First, the facts. Michigan's elections are free, fair, secure, and the results are an accurate reflection of the will of the people. They are administered by more than 1,600 local clerks, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, along with thousands of poll workers from both parties and every community.
Absentee ballots for the election are now available for Michigan voters. Clerks are immediately sending ballots to voters on the permanent absentee list. You can still request an absentee ballot online until 5 p.m. the Friday before Election Day. However, the state says you should plan on submitting the application online at least 15 days before Election Day, just to make sure there's enough time to receive and return the absentee ballot. You can also request an absentee ballot by mail or at a clerk's office, and early in-person voting begins on October 26th. So with just 6 weeks until Election Day, let's bring up our question of the day, and that is, have you decided who you will vote for in the presidential election? As of right now, let's take a look at those results. Seems like a lot of people say, yeah, they know who they're voting for already. 97% voted yes, where only 3% voted no. It looks like we have 434 votes so far. If you haven't voted yet, you can scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote. You can also join in on the conversation by going to our UpNorthLive Facebook page, or if you're watching on your phone or tablet or computer, maybe on Facebook or YouTube or X, you can leave a comment on this live stream. Actually, I take that back. I don't think you can leave live comments on X, but you can on Facebook and YouTube. So you can leave a live comment on our unscripted live stream, and I can read some of those a little bit later. We do have a post on our Facebook page with this question of the day, and it has 154 comments, but pretty much all the comments just say yes. Everyone is just saying yes, yes, yes. Tim says, hands down, the easiest decision ever. So I was looking for any comments, maybe from someone who voted no, just to see why they haven't decided yet. But so far, I have yet to see that. Just seeing a whole lot of yeses. So we will take another look at those question of the day results a little later. But let's turn things over to another story. And hopefully, again, we will be able to get back with Steve from T-Mobile a little later. So this is a story that Mark Gillette, he is my co-anchor, and he's also a reporter, that he worked on today. It's pretty interesting. So chances are you probably have a smoke detector in your house. You maybe even have a carbon monoxide detector, but there is a newer piece of technology that's being offered to 10,000 Michigan homes that could help in preventing any sort of fire. And it won't cost these folks a dime. So here's Mark Gillette with more.
The earlier notification that we have, obviously, the quicker we can get there to help mitigate the problem.
Time is important to the men and women at the Traverse City Fire Department. The earlier they know about a fire, often the less of a fire they have to fight.
Every 15 to 30 seconds, it's going to be double in size just based on the type of furniture and everything, the synthetics that are in the homes now.
House fires can be caused by a lot of things. Often it's acts by the homeowner, smoking, candles, and to a less common extent, misuse.
One of the more common issues with electrical fires is probably going to be the misuse of electrical cords, running them through doorways, them getting pinched or under rugs to where they can't dissipate the heat, problems within appliances or misuse of appliances, overloading circuits, things like that.
It's hard to know that those things are going to create a fire before they do. But there's some newer technology that may be able to help.
The device itself, if it's okay, it is very simple. It's the size of a cell phone. You plug it into a 110 outlet. It studies your electrical patterns for about a week, and it tells you, here's what's going on in your house.
It's called a Ting Smart Sensor. And as their website explains, you plug it into your home outlet, and it does the rest.
This device here is going to detect arcing, sparking, potentially if you're overloading circuits, and things that could lead to a fire.
Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan believes in the Ting technology so much so, they've partnered up with the tech company to get them in some of our homes free of charge.
What we're going to call it a pilot basis to roll this device out. We're going to roll 10,000 of these devices out to our policyholders.
The device first learns what's normal in the electric system of your house and then notifies you when something out of the ordinary pops up.
So the way I look at a product like Ting or other products that are a monitoring device, it's almost like a check engine light for your car. It's going to detect a problem that says, hey, you need to have this looked at, because if you ignore it, obviously you're going to have a bigger problem down the line.
It's a potential warning that something isn't right and something that's both valuable to you and your insurance company.
Well, you get into the cost of everything today. Trying to get a contractor, inflation has caused the cost of everything to go up. Deductibles are higher. I believe nobody wants a loss. You want to predict and prevent if you can. It's costly. It's time consuming. Again, no one wants to lose property or life from this. So that's why I think it's a win-win.
And that was Mark Gillette reporting. To learn more about the Farm Bureau program, you can go to our website, UpNorthLive.com. Other insurance providers are also rolling out similar programs, so you can check with your provider to see if you are eligible. So I'm hoping we can still talk with Steve from T-Mobile to hear about this program that T-Mobile is offering for communities around the country. And Mayo Asabel is in the running to win a grand prize of $2 million. They have already received $5,000. So guys in the back, what do you think? Do you think we can bring in Steve again? Or maybe they're working on it. Okay, so you know what we should do? If you guys in the back are cool with this, maybe we should take a quick break right now. Hopefully get things figured out with Steve, and then we can bring him in after the break. So let's do that. We'll take a quick break.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back, everyone. We are going to try this again. So in case you missed the beginning of our show, T-Mobile is working on something pretty special right now for high schools across the country. They are giving the opportunity to give teams a 5G advantage. So more than 1,000 schools applied in hopes of winning $2 million for a football field technology makeover. And one of the schools that applied and is in the running to get that money is Mayo Asabal High School. They have already received $5,000 from T-Mobile and still have the chance to win the grand prize. So let's bring in our guest, Steve Carlson. He's the Senior Communications Manager at T-Mobile. Hi, Steve. Can you hear me okay? Oh, no. Hey, Steve, can you hear me? Oh, no. All right. Looks like we're still having some issues with Steve being able to hear me. So we will turn things over to weather right now. So, Joe, here in northern Michigan, it is a pretty quiet day. But, of course, the big story is down near Florida where Helene is about to make landfall tonight.
Yeah, in a few hours, actually, in the north part of Florida. So we've been watching that. We've been talking about Helene for a few days now. The worst of this will be tonight for northern Florida, and then it'll rain itself out and gradually weaken. So we'll kind of take a look. First off, though, let's look at temperatures. It's a warm day around northern Michigan. We'll get down into the tropics here in a minute, down into Florida. But look at our temperatures right now. It is in the 70s, up at Iron Mountain there in the UP, 80 degrees, a warm one. Here's a couple weather cameras around northern Michigan. You can see Mackinac Island and also Cadillac. Beautiful day.
Mackinac Island looks a little different today.
Well, gosh, look at the cars there.
Yeah, wait a second.
That's our studio. I meant to hit the button. You know what? I'm going to do that since this is unscripted, right? Isn't that the name of the show?
That is the name of the show.
We'll throw Mackinac Island up there. There you go. It's a click of the button, and there we go. But look, on a more serious note, on the bottom portion of the screen, Palm Harbor, that's near Tampa. Look at the flooding that's ongoing there right now. And then you can see St. Petersburg, Florida, also near Tampa. You can see the waves and the wind kind of lashing that area already this evening. So let's go to Helene. Here's what that has looked like over the last 36 hours. Way down there is where this kind of was a tropical storm south of the Yucatan Peninsula in Cuba. And then this has now lifted up into the Gulf of Mexico and is offshore of Florida. So we showed you those cameras there a few minutes ago, St. Petersburg, and they're around Palm Harbor. The hurricane is still well offshore. The latest on Helene, well, it's 120 miles west of Tampa right now. The other thing I want to point out, this has now been upgraded, and this is just within the last hour, to a Category 4 hurricane. It was a Category 3. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And right now it's about 165 miles south of Tallahassee, Florida, the state capital, which may get kind of a direct strike or close to a direct strike from this. Here's radar showing you, here's kind of the path on this. So there's where Helene will be by 2 o'clock in the morning, already up in Georgia. So this will make landfall in a few hours in North Florida there. They call that the Big Bend area of Florida. And that is kind of what we're looking at for that region. And here's where the big rains will fall with Helene right there. If you look at Atlanta, up to a half inch, or rather a half a foot of rain possible there. Meanwhile, back home, there's not a lot happening here. High pressure is in control of our weather, sitting over Lake Huron tonight, the center of that. And as we look at our forecast, well, tomorrow, just if you see those little clouds downstate, that's the north edge of Helene, just the cloud shield, those feathery cirrus clouds. That's it. A beautiful day tomorrow. Saturday, same thing, some showers way downstate, but I don't think much here. Nice day Saturday, and then we get into Sunday, and we should have some pretty pleasant weather on Sunday as well. If you have weekend plans, here's a look at Saturday and Sunday. Mostly sunny north, partly cloudy south Saturday, mid and upper 70s, and then Sunday, upper 70s, close to 80. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy. The weekend looks really nice across the north. If you're wondering when are we going to cool down, it's Tuesday, next Tuesday. So dry weather through the weekend. There really is not a lot of rain in our forecast. We definitely could use more. Maybe a couple showers on Monday in the lower peninsula. And then Tuesday is the best chance for some scattered showers as a front comes through here. And you see the drop in temperature. So several warm days in a row here. We're going to string those together through Monday. And then we'll drop back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday into the 60s with that chance for some showers. So looking ahead here, Maya, warm, dry kind of, and not much of an impact here in northern Michigan from Helene. But we do cool down a little bit later next week.
Thanks, Joe. And we will have the very latest on Helene tonight and Up North Live News at 11. But we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe. Stay with us. Well, there's been all this excitement around the Detroit Tigers recently, of course, the Lions, and even college football. But we can't forget about our local teams here in northern Michigan. So let's check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe, who is live in Traverse City for a soccer game tonight. Hey, Harrison.
I am I'm at Traverse City West, and there's already a goal on the scoreboard.
Oh, no, and you missed it.
I did. I have a feeling there's going to be a few in this game. I don't want to speak too loudly. Cadillac's bench is right down there. But Traverse City West is having a pretty good season, as they always do. They're one of the powerhouses of any sport for Northern Michigan, and that's going to be on full display already here in this Big North Conference season. But they played in the state finals a couple of years ago in Division I, back-to-back years. I believe it was 2019, 2020. So I think these guys, it's a similar lineup that they're going to be threatening again for an opportunity to be in that spot here in early November is when these state finals are held for boys soccer. So there's that going on. We are highlighting in sports tonight the big two matchups for high school football tomorrow night. I won't give too much away, but in the Jimmy John Sports Corner tonight, we're talking with James Cook of the Record Eagle about Traverse City, St. Francis, and Kings. That's a game you'll be going to, Maya. And then Glen Lake and East Jordan. That's the game I'll be going to. Both those are they're not officially conference title games, but let's just say they look like the favorites in their respective conferences. So a lot feels like the dominoes are going to fall after those matchups are concluded and we find out who's the winner there. And those teams will determine their own path. But it's like you said, yeah, we have Tigers, Red Wings, Lions, a whole smorgasbord of activity. College football Saturday is rapidly approaching. So they say October is the best sports month of the year. I lean April, in my opinion, as far as the best sports month of the year, but I understand why October has a lot of hype around it as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, September is pretty exciting too.
It is. But then in October, you get the baseball playoffs. You get NBA and NHL officially back. You get to the meet of conference play in college football. So I think that's a big reason why October is looked at pretty fondly. But yeah, September, when you have a contending baseball team, is a lot of fun to monitor every night. That's for sure.
So let's do a quick little Tigers update in case folks missed your newscast or sportscast earlier in the 6 o'clock show. What's going on with the Tigers right now?
Well, I'll just ask you, can you believe that this team, it's one thing to win games where they're comfortable in, but with the amount of games we've seen in the past month where the old Tiger teams have been like, well, all right, try again tomorrow, and especially in this situation where it wasn't a must win a week ago, these were must win games. Now they actually have some breathing room, and yet they're still coming back and winning these games. They won 4-3 today after being down 3-0 in the bottom of the sixth. So, I was talking with James, the Record Eagle guy, earlier about this. Not only is this a dangerous team right now, but you wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs just because they have nothing to lose. They weren't supposed to be here. It's already a win for Tiger fans to be in this situation right now, much less get in a wild card round, much less get to a divisional or a league championship series, much less make a World Series. And I know I brought it up to you and probably on the show before, we've seen 6 seeds make the World Series the past 2 years. So there is, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there is a realistic runway for this team to make a deep run in the postseason. And it's all the more shocking, but it's all the more believable because they don't have anything to lose. There's nothing for them to feel upset or feel pressure about, because if they do get swept in the wild card round, oh, well, hey, at least we got in the playoffs. If they advance to the World Series, you've got a team that the one factor that we'll see in October is the inexperience. These guys do not have the reps or the belief or understanding of what it's like to win in those key playoff games. Some of these other teams and players do. So that might rear its ugly head when those chips actually face them in October. But until then, there's no reason not to be optimistic about what they're doing right now, and especially when that's on display in a game like today in a Tampa Bay team that is not a bad team. They have one of the best bullpens in baseball, so for them to surrender a lead like that was uncommon. And there's just a lot of belief. And you said that you saw that with the Lions last winter and their run to the NFC title game. It's very similar. It's just more shocking because this Tiger team has literally come out of nowhere.
Yeah. I was about to say that, Harrison, after watching today's game, it really looked like the Tigers maybe took a page from Dan Campbell's playbook, because they sure played gritty today. And I know they're making, I'm sure, Dan Campbell, the Lions, Detroit fans, the entire state of Michigan very proud. So exciting stuff happening in Detroit right now.
Yeah, and we've seen the Lions and the Red Wings at games. So Jamison Williams was at the game yesterday. Yep. A bunch of the Red Wings were at the game on Tuesday. So just need Kate Cunningham to show. We keep talking about the Pistons on this show. Yeah, we need some Detroit basketball to represent it at Comerica Park as well.
All right, Harrison, go get back to your soccer game. Don't miss any more goals. And we're going to take a quick break here on Unscripted, but we'll be right back.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Let's take a look at our question of the day results. Have you decided who you will vote for in the presidential election? Overwhelmingly, people are saying yes. We don't need 6 more weeks to figure it out. We know who we're voting for. 97% to be exact say yes. 3% say no. I'm just checking to see how many people voted. 452 people have voted. So thank you so much for those of you who have voted. If you haven't yet, you can still scan that QR code on your screen right now. Now, this comes as absentee ballots for the November election are available to Michigan voters, and early in-person voting begins on October 26th. So that is why this is our question of the day. With about 6 weeks left, we are just curious if there were people out there who are still undecided. And those 3% who voted no, I've yet to really hear why. I'm looking at our Facebook comments, and like I said earlier, everyone is just saying yes. People aren't really explaining. They're just saying, yep, yes, yep, we know. So everyone seems to know who they are voting for. All right, well, that'll do it for Up North Live Unscripted on this Thursday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I do apologize again for the issues we had trying to bring in Steve from T-Mobile. Hopefully we'll get him on a show again in the future, because this is a really cool story, and I want to know more. I'm sure you do too. So we'll hopefully get that figured out soon. But thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight on Up North Live News at 11.